So let's look at some examples and see if we can identify some different lines of symmetry with a few figures. So our directions ask us to tell whether the figure has line symmetry, and if so, copy the shape and draw the lines of symmetry. Okay. Well, in this case, I'm not actually going to copy the shape. I'm just going to use what we have. Okay. But yeah, I mean, so here's our figure. It looks like a star with a bunch of different vertices, and we want to see if there's different lines that we could reflect this figure across that would make the pre-image coincide with the image. Okay, and I can, think of one right away, and I'll try to use some different colors here. Okay, but this is the first one that I see. Okay, if I were to reflect it, reflect this image about this green line, then I would really get the same thing as I previously had. Right? I can see another one maybe right here. Okay, let's see if we can maybe find some more. It looks like these kind of outer edges or these outer vertices could possibly make them, right? So there's another one. If I reflected it about that line, I'd, my image would coincide with my pre-image. Here's another one. Okay. So it looks like we have 4 different lines of symmetry there that we actually have. But hold on, I think there might actually be a couple more. Let's maybe make a different color on these. I still think that if we reflected it across this line, we would actually get the same thing as well. Or about this line, our pre-image and our image would coincide. And this one, same thing, our pre-image and our image would coincide. And one last one. Okay, so we see in this particular figure there are 8 different lines of symmetry there. Okay, so obviously our answer would be yes, right? This figure has line symmetry. Okay, and I would say that there's actually 8 different lines of symmetry. Okay, so let's look at some other figures and see if we can identify some lines of symmetry here. Okay, all right, so we're given a triangle here. I'm just going to kind of play with this triangle here just a little bit and see if we can get this. So definitely not. If we reflected it about that line, that would not work. Let's maybe check another one. Same thing. That's not this. If we were to reflect it across that line, we would not get an image that coincides with the pre-image. Okay, let's maybe try again. Maybe here. Same thing. If we reflected it across this line, we'd get something different. So with this figure, I would say that this would actually be no line symmetry. All right. So again, pretty easy. It's kind of like trial and error. You can see that, again, if you keep asking yourself that question, if we reflected across this line, would your image coincide with your pre-image? If the answer is no, then that's not a line of symmetry. Okay, let's look at another one here. It says, tell whether the figure has line symmetry. If so, copy the shape and draw the lines of symmetry. Okay, this one looks like we might actually have some here. Okay, so let's use orange here. Looks like I could have a line of symmetry here. Okay, if I reflected that image across that line, my image would coincide with my pre-image. Okay, or how about this one? Okay, same story. If I basically reflected that as across the x-axis, my pre-image would coincide with my image. I even see a couple more here. Use a different color. Let's grab blue. This one right here, same story. That looks like we'd be reflecting it across that line y equals x. Okay, also again, another line of symmetry. Maybe y equals negative x would be another line of symmetry there. So in this example, I would say yes, this figure does have line symmetry. And we could say that there are 4 lines of symmetry. Okay. Now this next one, we'll again follow along with these in your notes, and we're just going to identify, how many different lines of symmetry exist in these particular images. So in part A, it looks like I could draw one here. Okay. I could maybe draw another one here. So in that first one, I'd say 2 lines of symmetry. Okay, I guess again our answer would be yes on this, so I better write yes above it because it does have line symmetry. Let's look at part B on this. So part B, definitely not a line of symmetry there. looks like we could have a line of symmetry there. Okay, but I don't really see any others. Okay, so I can say in this one, yes, we have line symmetry, and we have one line of symmetry. Okay, and then maybe one last example here. Is there line symmetry? Well, I can see one right here. Okay, if I were to reflect it basically across that horizontal line there, it looks like the pre-image and the image would coincide. I don't think there are any others. I don't think we could do this. That would not work. This would not work. So we would say, yes, it does have one line of symmetry. And that would be our final answer. Okay? Again, if you just kind of use the trial and error process on this and just ask yourself those questions, I think this is pretty simple material.